Artūras. How you doing? Good to see you, man. This is a lot easier than building a basketball team. You get to talk while you're late.
No question.
Sit down. So you're growing up in Lithuania. Your father's a pro player, right?
Yeah, so he played pro.
Is he kind of your main influence as to why you got involved in the sport
Well,
initially?
I think it just comes with the territory. You know, in Lithuania, basketball is #1 sport by a mile, and I just grew up around the game. I grew up, going to training camps with my father when I was, 3, 4, 5 years old. I remember picking up the ball when I was 6 for the first time and thought that I'm gonna play. The first sport that I started was the ping pong, so it's a table tennis. Until, people that trained me, they said, like, you're too tall for this game, you gotta do something else. So that's when I went to basketball when I was like 7 years old, and I stuck to it. And, got really, got success pretty early, 12 and 13 years old, and got a feel for it. And now 14 and 15 years old, when I was started with the cadets, Soviet Union national team. By the time I was 16, 17, I played for Soviet Union junior team. And 18 years old, I left for the States. We actually played exhibition games in the United States with the Soviet Union junior team. And we played 11 games around the United States to play against the high school all-stars everywhere I went. And that's when, colleges saw us. But I was the first one to do it, to actually play in college, because, before it was impossible to leave. And I was the first one to do it. And I opened the doors for a lot of athletes after me to come and play college basketball.
But what's that process like? I mean, you're growing up in a country that's not independent yet.
Exactly.
And
so there's a lot of unknown, right? So we found out probably 10 years later, 15 years later, 20 years later, exactly the details of my departure. So I played at that time for this club team that 𝗵𝗀 played before he went to Golden State. He took me under his wing, and I played with him. Then he leaves for Golden State. I stay and play for a club team. And now this club team goes to United States to play friendly games against colleges. And I know there's a possibility for me to go and play college. And 𝗵𝗀 obviously tried to help me as well. And and I still, until the last moment, I didn't know what's going to happen. We go in with the club team because everything, if you're in Lithuania or any other, republic at that time, everything has to go through Moscow, right? So you got to leave Moscow. So you get to Moscow. Now, before you leave, you have to make sure you got visas, all your documentation, everything is good with, the club to leave. And it took us 3 days in Moscow. So we're waiting. I had no idea what we're waiting for. To find out later that it was like a question in terms of like, are they going to let me go or not? Because I was trying to go and play college basketball.
You're waiting for KGB clearance is what you're waiting for.
Basically, a decision had to be made. They either letting you go or, some other, decisions to be made to just keep me in the country.
Look, Artūras is not a man of many words. He's quiet, but he's passionate. Sometimes he gets as angry as I do at the games or gets frustrated, but he doesn't show it. He's more stoic, and I can appreciate that. My wife and I had dinner with he and his wife, right, in this room, and the food came, and we were eating, and I look over, and it's like 30 seconds later, and his food was all gone, and I'm like, what? Did you just eat that whole meatloaf? And he's like, hey, where I come from, when the food's on the table, you don't take any chances that it's going to go away.
Now you get to the States with a goal of playing eventually at Seton Hall, but think about this. You're leaving your home, your family, your friends. I'm guessing your English not so great.
Not very good. So I came in, I stayed with this American Lithuanian family in New Jersey. I had to take, TOEFL test at that time, and I had to take SAT test. Well, my English is not very good, so I took the first time SAT test. I think I had to get like 700 in terms of points, in terms of score. I didn't get it because obviously I got like 20 points in English, But luckily I took the second time, and my math was so strong from, education in Lithuania that, I was able to score better than 700 just based on math, So, and that's when I was accepted, and I was ready to go to Seton Hall. But, my language struggles didn't stop there, because, now I know the slang, I know the, English from, shows on TV, from, Price is Right, or, or Wheels of Fortune.
Family Feud.
Family Feud, all the great shows. So now I'm sitting in American history class, and everybody's taking notes, and I'm not capable of taking notes. So I walk out of the class and I say, I will never feel like this again. And I take English classes as a second language for a year. Obviously, at that time, I took classes only math until, a year later, they told me I cannot take them anymore unless I major in math. But it took me a year to learn the language and to have full control of it. And my sophomore and junior year, I obviously had no problem.
And by the time you graduate, you're a Big East scholar. It's pretty impressive. I mean, you're Seton Hall 4 years. I mean, 4 NCAA tournament appearances, playing for legendary coach 𝗵𝗂 met your future wife. It's a pretty productive 4 years there.
I loved it because, my freshman year, we went to Final 8, and we played against UNLV in Seattle Dome, and playing against, Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony, like all those players that actually went to and played in the NBA for a long time. And I was a freshman, for me it was, and I started, my freshman year. So experience-wise, it was amazing. And I started for PJ all 4 years.
What did you learn from 𝗵𝗂, other than swear words?
I really liked him because he, for me, it was like a home far away from home. And he played me, he played me, he trusted me, and those were the lessons. And then we were always top 10 in defense in the country, so there's a lot of stuff I learned, from him and from his staff. Obviously, how physical at that time college was. For me, physicality was very, very new, so I had to lift weights and get stronger. But the skill and experience was there, so for me, I had to connect all that in college.
And while you're at Seton Hall, 1992, the Olympics, you play the Dream Team, which we're going to get into. I mean, amazing experience. But it's the first time that Lithuania is competing in the Olympics as an independent country.
Yep.
You're also funded by the Grateful Dead. You go home from Seton Hall. It's the first time you're back since you left, and it's the first time Lithuania is an independent country. Are you like looking over your shoulder? What is that experience like for you?
So for 3 years I couldn't go back,
Right.
right? Because of, situation and, in the process of, getting freedom, Lithuania. And I come there, I have no expectations, first time I'm playing for Lithuanian national team. I show up in a training camp, I'm still walking around. Is anybody gonna grab me, take me somewhere? It took me like 2 weeks to get really comfortable, and it's like, oh, it's real, and then to go through 2 months of experience of training camp, establishing yourself with the national team, qualifying for Olympics, because we had to qualify.
Right.
We had to play 11 games to get to Barcelona. So everybody's like seeing, oh, you played in Barcelona. Yes, but we played 11 games and we won them all. And then, you know, the connection with Grateful Dead, that they sponsored our, you know, preparation, because we had no money to travel and, you know, get plane tickets, stay at hotels, and to train. So they did. So in the documentary, The Other Dream Team, you know, Donnie Nelson is telling the story about, you know, him and Šarūnas go to Grateful Dead concert, and they waited after the concert to kind of see them and to present, you know, the idea, and that, you know, there's a newborn country, Lithuania, that they're all about freedom and, you know, and independence, and they need help. And they sold that to Grateful Dead, and they were sponsored us.
You can't make this stuff up.
No.
Šarūnas Marciulionis is playing for the Golden State Warriors, so that's the tie there. The Dead's obviously from the Bay Area. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. You also can't make up the picture of you in a tie-dye outfit getting your bronze medal.
I absolutely loved it. I had a nickname, American Boy, at that time, you know, because I have like glasses on. I Walkman at that time, you know, listening to classic rap, and you know, and obviously to get a bronze medal for the first time for, you know, free country, that was a great experience.
And you beat who in the bronze medal game?
Unified team.
You just can't make it up, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
What is that experience like, beating the team that used to hold you under their rule?
It was amazing, and also the presence of our, at that time, president was there, and he came in, I remember, into locker room, and we poured champagne, we put a tie-dye shirt on him. So celebration was, you know, I will never forget. And yeah.
And you're also facing arguably the most famous team in basketball history in the U.S. Dream Team. There's a famous picture of you fouling out against Charles Barkley, and then sitting on the sideline with a camera taking pictures of, I mean, these guys are rock stars. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. And
my college coach on the sideline, you know, so while I'm shooting free throws, he's there and I'm looking at him and we're laughing, you know, and it was unbelievable experience playing against the, you know, players that I watched when I was growing up, and had, you know, the ability to play against probably one of the best teams ever assembled. It was amazing. Obviously, we didn't do well, and I had to guard Charles, and Charles was obviously an amazing player, so I fouled out, and I think we had like a camera on our bench. That actually I was in those, you know, photos as well. So somebody else was taking them, right? So I'm 2 minutes to go in the game. I fouled out. I was like, might as well just help out my teammates while I take pictures of them while they're playing. So then I get caught in a shot that is, until this moment, it's online.
I mean, that's how larger than life these players are to you guys.
Oh, absolutely. And you got to remember, at that time, the separation was so huge in terms of NBA and international play. Obviously now we know there's 25% of our league is international, but at that time, you know, that kind of like international revolution was just happening, you know, and, you know, Šarūnas Marciulionis, Sabonis, you know, Vlade and Tony Kukoc, and, you know, all those guys start coming in and, you know, open the doors for everyone.
Yeah, and you narrowed that separation by 96, also won a bronze in the 96 Olympics. This came after you went undrafted in 1994 after graduating from Seton Hall. How big of a disappointment was that for you?
I remember it was disappointing to me that I didn't get drafted, but I went through summer league with Portland Trail Blazers because my head coach of, you know, in college, you know, PJ got a job with Portland. And then I played for Milwaukee in preseason as well. And the day before the season started, they let me go. So now I'm in November. You know, obviously my dream is shattered playing the NBA. Now I'm back in Europe, you know, and I played my first year in Cholet, in France, had a pretty good season and signed with juggernaut Barcelona, FC Barcelona, my second year. And after my first year, that's when I went to '96 Olympics and was already as an accomplished player in Europe. And again, we got a bronze for Lithuania, and yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah.
And your very successful European career also featured a stint with 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏. And in 1997, you faced another famous team called the Chicago Bulls.
It is the championship game of the 1997 McDonald's Championship.
And there are 3 players on the starting lineup with American experience, Artūras Karnišovas and Hawkins.
Getting to that game, it took us, it took some dramatic ending with the game before.
Karnišovas, that's a 3. Karnišovas hit a 3 late in the ball game for 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏 last night against the South American champions. Kicked his leg out and drew the foul and made a 4-point play out of it, which really ensured the victory and gave 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏 the ticket to the championship game tonight.
And then we get to play against Chicago Bulls, in the finals, and get to play against Michael and the crew, and actually got to to guard Tony, and we've played against each other, international players as well. So I wanted to do really well.
That's a 3.
Karnišovas is an excellent three-point shooter.
You were leading scorer for 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏, so that
Yes,
19
I
points.
was.
104-78 was the final.
Now, my teammates wanted to, also guard, MJ and get in the photo opportunity too. But actually before the game, Michael was dealing with some, toe issue, and we didn't know if he was going to play, but he played and dominated us.
And the first 2 of the night for Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, his airness, he hits again. Michael goes around Carlacci. Oh, baby!
They came for that. This is beautiful.
Renoir, Monet, Jordan.
I feel good being, part of the history, and, when they, made the documentary, obviously I was in the first episode. Here's me. Here I get scored on. Here I get scored on by MJ. So, yeah, so it was fun.
You retire in 2002 at the age of 31. And similar to Billy Donovan, you initially pursue a career in economics and finance.
Yeah, so I was like, I got a degree in economics. I was really good at, at school, although I didn't try very hard. I retired in 2002, and of course I was thinking, I'm going to retire. We just had our first child, first son. I'm going to be stay-at-home, dad and all this stuff. And 3 months in, I'm like, I got to do something, So I'm walking like a lion in a cage, and got a job in financial industry in Asante. There was a company that was working, in New York. I'm going to help athletes, after they retire to kind of manage their careers financially and all this stuff. But then year in, I'm like, I missed the game, and the opportunity came from NBA league office, and it was around time that the game was growing internationally. I had 4.5, 5 years of great experience working for the league at that time.
While you're working for the NBA, are you thinking at some point you want to work for a team?
At the end of my time in NBA, I wanted to be on the team side because the goals and objectives are very clear. You got to win a championship, right? So I wanted to be part of it, and and that's in 2008. I got a job opportunity from Houston Rockets as a scout, and I made that jump. It was amazing 5 years learning, and yeah.
And then you move to Denver and you draft a certain guy named 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏.
Yes.
Heard of him?
Little did we know what Nikola is going to do, it's going to be 3-time MVP and all this stuff. Obviously, we had no idea. We thought we were getting a good player in the draft.
Just hearing him talk about what he went through as a kid, He played in the Olympics. He played against the dream team, and not to have spoken a word of English in those days, like to what he went through to get to where he was this general manager in Denver. Like that was a heck of a history. Being the number 2 guy in Denver, and we all knew, even though Denver hadn't won a championship yet, it was clear like that team was going to be a championship team. And we did the interview, and it was a Zoom interview because it was COVID. I think what stood out to me is that he was very organized. He had a plan. I think he was open-minded. I think, knowing that there's different ways to build a championship caliber type team.
What's up, Aya? How you doing? Long time no see.
His ability to, recognize European talent, I think was really important to me. I knew he was going to build a good team around him. I think he's done that.
What is that moment like when you get hired by the Bulls to run this historic franchise?
You don't realize until you get here, what a historical franchise it is, the fan base, the magnitude, and, the city of Chicago, how much they love their sports and how important it is for everyone. Regardless if they are Bears fans or Cubs or White Sox or Blackhawks, they all like the Bulls.
It's a pretty amazing journey. Do you ever think about what if you don't get clearance from KGB? Do you ever think about what if?
Yes, but I always was ready to try, and to take that next step, because for me it was easy. I had a dream to play basketball, and I mean it's just an amazing journey that basketball put me on, and I have no regrets. Yeah, and I'm enjoying now, obviously, my time in Chicago, and hopefully we can get to our ultimate goal, why we all here, is to win a championship one day.
Nobody knows this. I would show up to swim meets and kill everyone.
I know English from TV, from, Price is Right.
Losing close friends to gun violence, it motivated me to help the next generation.
Coach Williams, his favorite story is, there's only one player who could turn it off and on, and he never turned it off, and his name was Michael Jordan.
My dad, he said, you gotta knock on their door and apologize to them. Those things were really impactful.
As soon as I found out the Bulls were picking me, it's honestly the best day of my life.